Is generative AI a good thing for scammers? Well, it's definitely making some things easier for them. Hello everyone, welcome to the Medcurity podcast. Today we want to look at how generative AI tools are enhancing phishing scams, making them more convincing, more sophisticated, and easier to run. So first, let's break down what generative AI is. Essentially, it's a type of artificial intelligence, think ChatGPT, right? Something that's able to create new content, whether that's text, images, music, and even videos. And these tools are trained on massive amounts of data to be able to produce these high quality, highly effective, and convincing outputs. Now, phishing scams are relatively old news, right? They've been around for a long time, and traditionally these involve sending fake emails out and trying to trick people into providing sensitive information. Now, the success of the scam usually depended on the criminal's ability to craft a believable message, right? To write up something that would get you to act. Now, part of the skill that was required to become a good scammer has actually been taken away. With AI tools, scammers don't need to be master wordsmiths or graphic designers. They actually can rely on AI to do that heavy lifting for them. Now, there are a few ways generative AI is making phishing scams more effective. I wanted to look at 3 of those today. Number 1, we are seeing some highly convincing emails and messages. Generative AI can produce emails and text messages that are almost indistinguishable from the legitimate ones. It can mimic writing styles of certain people. It has all the jargon, right? It can generate contextually relevant content based on recent news or events or even facts about the industry. And this makes it a lot harder for individuals to spot phishing attempts. Now, bad grammar and spelling errors, some of these things we used to look for, are still good signs that an email isn't what it appears to be, but those indicators are becoming less and less relevant when hackers can get incredible content in seconds. Now, there have been recent reports of email scams that are so well made that even cybersecurity experts are having trouble distinguishing them from the real deal. Number 2, we are seeing personalized attacks. By analyzing data from social media and other online sources, AI can craft these highly personalized phishing messages. These messages reference specific details about the target's life, making them more believable and increasing the likelihood that someone's going to fall for that attack. So remember, right? Whatever you're putting out there on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever's on the internet about you that's out there can be used against you. They can use that knowledge about you to scam you directly, or they can use that to send a fake email that appears to be from you to another person within your organization. So be aware of what you're posting, what you're putting out online. Now, we've seen examples of these that contain details about leaders of organizations that have been scraped from the internet. Remember, hackers only need to convince you enough to get you to hand over the keys to the system. And number 3, now this one may be less prominent, but it's still important, and that is the deepfake technology, right? Generative AI isn't limited to text content. It can also create realistic deepfake videos and audio clips. Imagine receiving a voicemail from your boss that's asking you to transfer funds, or maybe getting a video message from a colleague asking for sensitive information. These deepfakes are incredibly convincing and difficult to detect. Even 5 years ago, back in 2019, this technology was advanced enough for scammers to generate audio matching a CEO's voice requesting a $243,000 bank transfer. And that attack was successful. And today, it's only gotten more powerful. Now, it's not all bad news though, right? The good guys are using AI as well. We're using AI over at Medcurity. We got cybersecurity experts using AI too. People are using this to create better tools to identify these scams and to protect organizations in other ways. Artificial intelligence is being used to defend sensitive data, not just to target it. And even though these scams are getting more and more convincing, training your employees on those common red flags is still an incredibly effective way for you to reduce your risk. Now, is an email asking you to act immediately? Is it creating that sense of urgency? Look for that. That is still a tried and true indicator of fraud. Is this person asking for access to sensitive patient data? Make sure you're verifying that they are who they say they are. Now, it's still so important that healthcare employees know these scams are out there and know the best ways to avoid being hacked. At Medcurity, we've talked about this concept of having a healthy paranoia when it comes to stuff like this. Know enough to be able to stop and think twice when you're being asked to click on something that seems unnecessary, or you're being asked to give up information that could be harmful if it ended up in the wrong hands. Now, we're here to help. If you have any questions about how you can protect your patient data from cyber criminals, I want to thank you for tuning in today. Stay safe and secure, and let's continue to protect patient data in our organizations.